Hey, howdy, hey, Helsing here.
Holmes here.
And this is another episode of the OverCast. Alright, Holmes. How are you doing, man?
Hey, doing great.
Doing great. So, we have a little... Well, I'm doing very well.
Alright.
We have a bit more Overcasty things to be talking about because the Overwatch... recently, this past weekend, came to Gamescom in Cologne, Germany, and we got a new hero, a couple new maps, but that's kind of about it.
Yeah.
We will talk about all these things in the future. Did you get to see... Before we talk about this new hero, let's talk a little bit about how they first kind of brought this hero to our attention. How about that?
Yes.
Oh. Okay, did you see... Oh, so before they announced this hero, they kind of did almost like a musical tour announcement, kind of. So the new hero is Lucio, as I'm sure all of you guys know. Anyone who's found this video is probably following the Overwatch scene. So Lucio was announced first with like kind of an album, saying, oh, he's doing an international tour, here's his album with all his tracks. Oh, you want to hear a couple of those tracks? Boom, here they are on SoundCloud, which you can hear currently in the background, so it's kind of like this techno kind of a deal. And yeah, so that is what's going on. So let's just go right into it, and let's just talk a little bit about Lucio. So, Lucio is a support harass hero, with some super high mobility. Tell us about his abilities, Holmes.
Well, speaking of his mobility, his is rather unique because of those little skates of his. Those little, almost like little, they're not even really skates, they're just cool tech, like, you know, high tech.
Yeah, they're skates minus the wheels.
Yes, that's exactly. That's what I'm getting at. Anyway, he can go across walls, which is pretty sweet. Those things somehow, I guess, give him a little like sonic boost up on the wall. So he can
wall jump by holding down space when he jumps and is right next to a wall.
Yeah,
cool.
So you can go across uneasy terrain that others may not have the luxury of.
Okay.
Anyway, moving on to his sweet little amp gun, sonic amplifier. He can shoot little sonic wave bolts, or he can boof, give it a little sonic, like a little burst that pushes people back. It's good stuff. Awesome utility spell.
So that sonic burst, I believe it shoots around like 4 burst rounds. So it'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 with the left click, and then if you right click, it actually blows enemies away from you. So there's a couple videos out there. Well, there's a video out there of Lucio pushing an enemy off the cliff or off of a point. So right click,
you could use it offensively, yeah.
Yeah, so you can get them off your point if the other team's about to capture your point, or you can just, there's a couple of the maps have cliffs that you can fall off of and die, and this is the thing to get an easy free kill just by simply pushing an enemy off.
Yeah.
So let's talk about his shift and E abilities.
All right. So he's got the crossfade, which is he, does his support role by busting up a song on nearby allies, gives them amplified speed or healing, which is pretty sweet. You can mix and match whatever you need at the time.
Okay.
And then amp it up, which is basically just boosts his
those abilities.
That crossfit, yeah.
Yeah.
So you can make it even more fast. If you watch a little video, it's almost like you make a bunch of tracers run around. Everybody is just super fast.
Yeah. So we'll link the gameplay video or the abilities overview below. But so as Holmes was saying that. So Lucio is a support class, and he will passively either give your team around Lucio, so I don't know we haven't figured out just yet the radius, but basically in a radius around him, all of his teammates are going to get either a speed boost passively, or they're going to slowly regenerate their health. So he doesn't have to target anybody. So he's either going to just AoE heal everybody close to him slowly, it's not super great, or give everyone a speed boost with his, and he can switch between the speed boost and the heal with the shift key, and he can amp it up, turn up the beat, kind of a thing, with his E, and that's either going to increase that speed boost, or it's going to increase the health regen for a set amount of time, just a couple seconds. Alright, so go ahead and tell us about his ultimate.
Alright, that ultimate sound barrier. So he jumps up, slams the ground with a sonic blast, and it gives his nearby allies personal shields.
Personal
green shield that goes
boom, 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 boom. So this is like drop the bass. Wah, wah. Okay, so so this shield will it starts out pretty like now I want to guess and say I don't remember off the top of my head, but I think it's like a 1400 damage shield, maybe 500. No, sorry. Did I say 1400? I meant 400, maybe 500 damage shield. Yeah, that would be ridiculous.
Never gonna die.
So it starts out as 400 or 500, and then it quite rapidly decreases in size. So it starts out as a really big shield, and it slowly decreases. So that is really good for like, okay, we're all together in a pack. Now we're gonna assault the objective. I'm gonna boom, shielding everybody.
Shield, speed boost, boom.
Boom, exactly.
Boom
so those are his abilities. Obviously, neither of us got a chance to go to Gamescom, and neither of us were invited to any press events lately, or ever. So go ahead, Holmes, just from hearing these things and watching the previews, tell me what you think about Lucio. I know we've talked in the past that a support or tank character are kind of really up my alley. What about you? Do you think Lucio is something that appeals to you, or are you more of the assault or offense or defense, kind of more of a twitch shooter type player?
Yeah, I mean, typically I do like to tend more on the offensive side, or even defensive, but yeah, like I really, when we played at BlizzCon, man, I was digging Winston, just busting in, ripping people to shreds. But if I were to play support, I gotta say, I think I'd pick Lucio, because he's just freaking awesome. You can, I love that it's not just healing, that you can, speed boost people, give them shield.
Yeah.
I especially love his mobility.
Definitely.
So I think that's, the key thing there is that, the wall rides and all that stuff, so I'd have a great time with him.
For sure. I think, as I've said in the past, I am very much a support player in all the games. I'm a healer in WoW. I like to play supports in Heroes of the Storm and other MOBAs. So I really like just the support class in general. But I especially heard about this guy and I just got so excited because it's a very different approach to healing. He's very versatile, I feel like he doesn't have to target any of his heals. But he also kind of gets, if you're familiar with Dota 2, a Drums of Endurance, where you speed up everybody close to you. And I think that's awesome. But I think he's going to be great for offense pushing objectives. You can get your team there quickly with a speed boost. He's great for defending, because everyone can come back into an area where they're not directly in the line of sight of fire. He can heal people up in conjunction. I think he's going to be really awesome with a Soldier 76 with his biomedic field or whatever that we talked about last episode, which is a minor heal, plus Lucio's also not as quick heal. I think that a Lucio plus 76 will just top people off really, really nicely. I also like the fact that he can kind of get in, like he's healing, but he's never really thinking about it so much. He's not as focused on the healing aspect. He feels, I imagine he would feel more like just a hero, like he's, okay, I'm gonna shoot people, also I'm healing people at the same time. Like that's kind of in the back of his head at all times, like is my team gonna benefit more from a speed boost or healing? But he's not worrying about specifically which hero am I, like, it needs healing. Okay, like with a Mercy, she has to pick, okay.
Yeah, it's like, okay, here's the beam on you. Now I gotta follow you around. Oh gosh, now you're going behind a wall. Oh, I lost you.
Yeah, and there's one person. Oh, maybe, and then you regret. Oh, maybe I should have followed Winston in that situation. Whereas with Lucio, I feel like your team's gonna kind of gravitate towards you. Whereas Mercy, you go to your teammates. I have a feeling Lucio, people are gonna come to him and say, "Oh, I want to benefit from just being around you."
That is a good point, and that even kind of plays into like his backstory, you know, where it's like he wants to rally the people with his jam.
Yeah, he's jamming, and I think too, like, the speed boost especially is very applicable to reality. Like whenever I go for a run, or if I'm working out at the gym, and I play some cool music, especially, you know, either techno or some dubstep or something, it definitely like gets me into a like I get more amped up, and I'll run faster.
You don't even have to be at the gym. You just
like
playing my Heroes of the Storm. Once I feel the techno jam, I'm just like, oh.
Yeah, you just kind of get into the rhythm, and you feel faster. Like it helps. You're not thinking about being tired, you know.
Yeah.
So I think
that music keeps you going.
Yeah. So I really like the fact that he's a music hero that supports in this manner. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, it looks like Lucian and Sonya from League of Legends had a baby," you know, and like, well, I mean, you can say that, but I don't think that's. I mean, that wasn't the thing that my brain directly went to.
Yeah.
So this is the most excited I've been about any of the heroes that I've seen.
He's pretty sweet, dude.
At BlizzCon, I saw Tracer and I thought, she's so cool, you know. And then I played Tracer and I saw gameplay footage and her ability overview, and I thought, she's so cool. But I'm not really that kind of player where it's all about, you know,
it's
like
in and out, and taking people out here and there.
Super squishy, and her goal is to get behind enemy lines, and it's just pure damage, right? Now, I think Lucio, as far as supports go, he's very similar to that in the harass, get behind enemy lines, like make life difficult for the enemy because he's so mobile. But, like, first and foremost, he's a support, right? I've wanted to play support for a while, and so I'm super excited. I'm definitely, if it is a payment model, I have $10 sitting in my Battle.net balance, or my Blizzard balance. If we have to pay for heroes, if it's a free-to-play model, which maybe we'll talk about a little bit later.
Now, I'm trying to think through the heroes. Do any of them have the kind of crowd control that he has with his little... I'm trying to think.
What do you mean?
Like his Sonic... if you right-click with his gun...
Oh, to push people away?
Disrupt, yeah.
I mean, you could technically say Reinhardt with his pin. He has that charge, and he pins people, right? But, I mean, as far as like a knockback, or like being able to control... Zarya's ult is almost like Enigma from Dota 2, so she'll suck people in. Right. But as far as a controlled... multiple use, like, because this is not an ultimate, you know,
on the fly, yeah.
This is a pretty quick. I feel like the cooldown is probably very low for that right click, push people back kind of a thing. But anyways, if we have to pay per hero, Lucio might be probably the first character that I buy, honestly, because I know some people are saying, oh, you know, like I know on the instance they talked about, you know, Lucio, he seems kind of too silly, too lighthearted, and too kind of jokey. His colors are really bright. I mean, he's Brazilian. He looks like a Brazilian football player. And so that's why a couple episodes ago I said, hey, there's this guy in green. He looks like he's got some kind of a music-based weapon. I bet you he's from Brazil. It's true.
You did call that one.
But I mean, anybody can say they called it. I'm not trying to say that, but I think I like it. You know, it's cool. So, like I said, I'm very excited about Lucio.
When I play Winston, I think Lucio will be my best friend.
Yeah, I think Lucio will be able to get in, like, maybe not as quite as Mercy as far as mobility for one specific, but he's definitely the kind of everyone support. You know.
Yeah.
So that's that. So also, along with Lucio, they also announced 2 new maps coming up. So let's go ahead and talk about those 2 new maps, right?
Nice.
So showcased above, we have Volskaya Industries, which is set in Russia. It's kind of a snowy, Russian theme, right? So it's set in the industries that it looks like it has a little library, but so this is a corporation that created robots to kind of to retaliate against the Omnic crisis, which is kind of this whole pivoting point where Overwatch was first incepted because the Omnics were invading. So there's this huge war between man and machine. Volskaya Industries is that. Now Numbani is the second map. Conversely, this is kind of one of the first places. It's located in North Africa, but it's one of the first places where human and robot kind of were able to have a utopia, or to work together and to be kind of peaceful with each other. So as
Metropolis.
Yeah, so Volskaya Industries is kind of they're still focused on kind of anti-machine, anti-artificial intelligence, or anti-omnic, whereas Numbani kind of celebrates we're past that stage, right? So Volskaya Industries is the typical capture point map where we'll play this again. So it's just capture objective A and capture objective B, and then you're done. Whereas Numbani is capture objective A, and then you can escort the payload, and then after that you go to a second checkpoint, and then the map's over. So the payload that you'll be escorting is actually Doomfist's Gauntlet, which we've seen in the Overwatch cinematic trailer. It's the one that the older brother punches Widow with.
That was awesome!
Yeah. So we'll get a little bit of that. Hopefully more story of that will
Doomfist
unravel as time goes on. Yeah, so I think I really like the look of both of these maps. Numbani I think looks really cool just because it's this very populous first world developed setting where I mean as an American, probably ignorantly, I kind of do not see that as most of Africa, right? I don't see it as this like very metropolis, urbanized, technologically advanced area. So I really like this kind of the fantasy of future Africa being really awesome.
Yeah.
Also, I like the idea that you're not just escorting some random payload, but you're kind of Doomfist Gauntlet. Like, that's pretty cool to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on these 2 new maps?
Yeah, I
Mr.
think
Holmes.
Volskaya is pretty sweet because it kind of gives you a look at the history of the clash, the main clash of the backstory, or at least so far as we know.
Yeah.
You can even see like there's a stone mural of a bunch of bastions.
There's
programmed ones.
And Bastion was one of the robots that the Omnics used against the humans.
Right.
That's in his little lore paragraph. But yeah, that's cool. It's very like Cold War feeling, right?
Yeah.
And because the U.S. was at war with Russia during that time, during the Cold War, I really think it's very nostalgia and almost timeless, which is kind of what they've talked about, how when picking the music, they want to pick something that's timeless and kind of nostalgia-y feeling.
Environment.
Which I definitely appreciate, for sure.
Yeah. You feel like, it keeps that connection of future, but also present.
A relatable future, right?
Relatable
a future that you can totally... It's not far-fetched.
Yeah.
And as they've talked about in the past, I keep saying that, they want to build a game that is a future worth fighting for, right? So I think in order to make that happen, you kind of have to have a nostalgia element, or else it's like you want to fight for something that is dear to you and something that is familiar, right? Something that you value, and things that are familiar to us are things that have already happened, things in the past, things that we value, things like say, oh my gosh, like this was such a big trial, but we made it through it, right? And so I think adding in little elements and kind of flavor of that is spot on. So now we're going to talk about. So Holmes, I know that you didn't watch the. So let me step back for a second. So all of this was revealed on Wednesday, and then probably the next day they tweeted, and I don't know if they did anything on Facebook, but they announced, we're going to have, you want more Overwatch in your life? Come tune in on Saturday at 9 a.m. for the Overwatch panel at Gamescom. And so everyone was freaking out on Reddit saying, oh my goodness, we're gonna get a beta day announced. Maybe we're gonna get beta because if you've checked your Battle.net launcher lately, you've noticed Overwatch is in there.
Oh my gosh, such a tease.
Total tease.
It's like it's cool to see it, but at the same time, it's like, come on.
Yeah.
But
so everyone was super excited, super hyped. I totally jumped on the train of, oh my gosh, like wishful thinking. Hopefully, we're gonna get something awesome. I watched the announcement on Saturday, and on Twitch, the Twitch chat was literally just like scrolling of, it just said beta or riot, and everyone is just like, there was thousands of people just saying beta or riot, and they didn't announce a single thing new. They said, yeah, we have Overwatch here, hope you guys play it, people who are here at Gamescom. Let's watch this random girl, Zoe. I know she's like affiliated with Blizzard in their European department. Nothing against Zoe, but it was basically, watch Zoe play Overwatch. Here's a camera of Jeff Kaplan kind of telling her how to play. Also, we're gonna ask some random people at Gamescom. We're gonna let them ask questions, and all the questions they asked, one guy said, "Oh yes, how do I play Torbjorn?" And then another guy said, "Oh yes, could you please tell me how to play Tracer and be very powerful?" And so it was just like, we don't. And the developers kind of came back with saying, to use Torbjorn effectively, be sure to put down his turret and don't forget to use that shield E ability. And so they basically said, use all of your abilities, right?
yeah.
And it's like, we didn't. I mean, I could have guessed. You're probably going to want to use everything your hero has to offer in order to be effective. So we didn't learn anything new, and I was kind of disappointed. But at the same time, we've learned a lot. We know that beta is very, very soon. It's right around the corner. It's in fall, and we're at the tail end of summer right now. So last episode I predicted like fall 10th. That's already announced. September like 21st or something like that. I think technically the first day of fall is not until September 23rd. So that prediction is probably wrong, but I'm gonna guess. I still think end of September, early October. I still think we're gonna get some form of maybe a very exclusive closed beta pre-BlizzCon, just to get people super amped up, and then maybe post-BlizzCon there will be some kind of, either everyone who went to BlizzCon gets Overwatch beta, or we're going to go into open beta, or perhaps pre-order World of Warcraft Legion, which we're going to talk about later after everything Overwatch. So if you're not into WoW, you can totally stop watching. But anyways, maybe if you pre-order Warcraft Legion, you will and you pre-order it and you do the whole 1 year subscription like they did a few years back. 2 years ago they said, if you pre-order Mist of Pandaria or Warlords of Draenor or whatever one it was, and you do this whole 1 year thing, you're gonna get Diablo 3 for free. So they did promotion like that in the past. So it's, I don't think it's far-fetched to guess that.
No.
I don't know how it'd work out, but anyways, we'll talk about that a little bit later. So, still no beta date, still not a whole lot, substantially.
Yeah.
But I will guess, so today is Monday, and the announcement of Lucio was last week. We still don't have a full gameplay preview of Lucio. I'm gonna guess we'll get that Tuesday or Wednesday, so within 2 to 3 days, because I just looking back at Overwatch's YouTube channel, they announced Soldier 76, they had his character origin story and all that stuff, and then a week later they came out with the Soldier 76 gameplay preview, the whole 10 to 12, or maybe it's 8 to 12, whatever minutes of the Soldier 76 full gameplay is. So I'm guessing we'll probably get that sometime this week, just to see a little bit more Lucio footage. Then I'm gonna guess that in maybe 3 weeks we might get another hero. I'm gonna say we'll probably get 2 more hero reviews and maybe 1 to 2 more maps. Probably just 1 map, honestly.
Yeah.
Because looking back at the Heroes of the Storm beta, Dustin Browder, who is the lead game designer or director or whatever, he's the bald guy. He had a goatee and then he shaved it off, and so he looked really strange now. But Dustin Browder, he said before we, he got all excited and he said, before we release Heroes of the Storm, we want to have at least 7 maps or whatever. And we currently have 6 maps in Overwatch, and we have 16 heroes. So I wouldn't be surprised if they wait until 18 to 20 heroes and at least 7 maps. So we might see between 2 and 4 more heroes before beta launches, is my personal guesses. I could be totally wrong.
It seems pretty logical.
If we follow, if it is true that within 6 to 8 weeks we get a closed beta, then I would say probably 2 more heroes, maybe 1 map, maybe not. I don't know if we need it, but I think the heroes are probably a little bit more important to the team to get out there, just for keeping people interested. We still have I was really surprised, we have no indication on a payment model yet. We still don't know if the game's going to be free to play or buy to play. Go ahead.
Hanging in the air there.
We don't know if there's going to be cosmetic options. So Holmes, go ahead. Tell me, what do you think as far as, do you think we're going to see free to play? Do you think we're going to see a buy to play model similar to Heroes of the Storm, Dota 2, League of Legends, or do we think it's going to be pay $30 to $60, you get everybody, all the maps, one time, boom? What do you think?
Well, man, it's really hard to tell with this one. It seems like, they kind of have the character models already in their form, and when I say that, I mean that they can't really add to them or take away from them, especially in like the story. I don't know. And so I wanted to ask that at BlizzCon when we were there, if they would actually do something where you can make models and submit them, or if they would actually have new models that you could, or skins that you could pay for. So I think it might actually tend more on the pay to, or like you buy to play.
Yeah.
Especially with FPSs, that's kind of the way it goes usually. But it is kind of a trend now to do the
free to play is
free to play and
on fire.
Pay for the bandy stuff.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, go ahead. I don't mean to interrupt.
Oh no, it's good. And so it seems possible that might be the case, but I don't think they want to go that route, especially since they're already kind of doing that with heroes. Focusing on pumping out skins for that. Yeah. So it just doesn't seem, as much as it'd be cool and I'd like it to be more and more like
accessible
or vanity content that comes out for stuff.
Yeah.
I just don't know if it'll be that, because they also don't want to. They want to try it and not lean towards Team Fortress, which is very much like that. So.
Yeah. Well, and see, the thing is, when the game was first announced, I was like hoping and praying, like, oh god, please let this be a pay to play. I'm tired of free to play games. I'm tired of it, I'm tired of all this stuff that comes with free to play and the connotations of buy to play or buy to win kind of a thing, you're buying power. Now, the more I've thought about it, and I watched, there's a video on YouTube which I'll link in the description below. It's between Tactical Koala and somebody from VVV Gaming. I forget his name. I apologize. Forgive me. But it's like a 40-minute or something like that discussion between Koala and this other gentleman talking about free-to-play versus buy-to-play. Koala takes the buy-to-play approach. The other guy takes a free-to-play approach, and he brings up a lot of good points. He talks about, well, Blizzard has been very open with wanting this game to be competitive, and in order to keep competitive games alive, you need as many players as possible, and a free-to-play game offers it's the potential most players because they don't have to buy to get into it. Another good point he brings up is Blizzard has never made a first-person shooter before, and although Blizzard has a really huge following, people might be skeptical about their first-person shooter experience that they give to players. Now, this is a harder one to follow than the whole you need more players. It's like, obviously, if you want to be competitive, more players is always better. But with a pay-to-play experience, like a traditional buy-the-box, you get everything, then you have to pay the $40, $30, $40, $60 up front before you even get to try out the game. And I think, especially nowadays with PC gaming culture, that's kind of, a lot of people are not quite okay with that. Maybe if they priced it at around $20 to $30, I think there'd be no problems. But also, you got to think of, look at the last couple games Blizzard's come out with, Hearthstone and Heroes of the Storm, both free-to-play options, right? Now, so there's potential. I know I've heard of people spending up to $600 on Hearthstone alone, where it's a free-to-play game, right? But $600, and that's from one person. And I think they're up to like in the 30 million active users with between computer, tablet, and mobile devices. I only play Hearthstone on my phone now, so there's a lot of players, and I've spent probably $10 to $15 on Hearthstone cards between the expansions and whatnot. Now, so that's money I've spent on free-to-play game, as well as Heroes of the Storm I've spent some money on. So the point I know I'm talking too long about this, but I think there's potential to make more money in Overwatch if they charge for heroes, but only if they add in cosmetic options like changing hero skins, because as of right now 16 heroes is not going to be a whole, that's not a lot of content to buy. Obviously all the maps have to be free, and if they did, I think they could do something like heroes, but even if that was the case, potentially you say it's $10 per hero, they could potentially make $160 per customer, right? If there's only 16, we know there's going to be more. Now, if they placed it as a buy-to-play, the most they would charge, the most would be $60, right? So just that alone, we're already looking at, well, that's $100 more potentially they could make off per customer.
That's a good point.
But also, we know there's going to be more heroes, but if that was the case, there would have to be an option to where an in-game currency where you could buy the heroes in-game, right? Earn it, right? So
you want to get it, you can fight for it, but it takes so long.
Yeah.
You just want it now.
You want it now. So there's going to be some players who would just grind it and have a free-to-play account, and that'd be fine. But I think the game needs, I think it really needs cosmetic items, just because you're playing, only if you couldn't switch heroes mid-match and everyone have the same hero, I think that multiple skins maybe wouldn't be needed. But
actually, and that's something I never really thought of too.
Yeah,
you want to stand out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Only even if it's just between your other teammates. Like if you're going a 6 Winston combination or 6 Tracers, you don't all want to look exactly the same. Because multiple players on the same team can be the same exact hero, I think that it screams we would love to have cosmetic items, you know?
Yeah, it makes sense.
And nobody, we've seen time and again, Dota 2, all the heroes are free, all the cosmetics, even some of the cosmetics, you get for free randomly, right? And you can trade them with other people, but there's individual cosmetic armor pieces and other like wards and couriers, all that stuff that you pay for. And that game is doing totally fine 5 years later. They're doing great, you know?
Yeah.
And so players and consumers are totally fine with paying for cosmetic items. They accept that model, right? And they kind of expect it. So I think it'd be really interesting if Overwatch does not go that route. As I said originally when I first saw the game, I just wanted everyone for one flat rate. But I just think there's more potential for them to make money if they go the free-to-play route. But I'm sure we'll find that out within, I'm going to guess, the next month. So I think the game might come out within 6 weeks. I'm going to say within 4 weeks. I mean, sorry, the beta is hopefully coming out 6 to 8 weeks. I would be very surprised if we don't learn what their payment model is going to be within 4 weeks. So that's another prediction I'm going to make.
All right.
So that being said, let's go ahead and move on to our one community spotlight for the week.
Sweet.
Then we'll talk about some other Blizzard Gamescom stuff. But those of you who came here just for Overwatch, you can end now, or not now, but after this, and then whatever. We warned you. Okay, so moving on, community stuff. We're going to go ahead and listen to what Tactical Koala has to tell us. So, Tactical Koala, we talked about him last week. He said, or not last week, but last episode, he said he was going to go to the to Blizzard HQ, which we went to. Let's not remember that or bring that up. He went to Blizzard HQ, got to play the game before Gamescom. Played it for like 4 hours or so. And he had some really good insights that he talked about Lucio and the maps and all this good stuff. And he put a video together that, honestly, his video told us more than the Overwatch panel. Yeah, he gave us better insight than they did. So shout out to you, Tactical Koala. You're the man. Maybe we'll have you on the show one day. Maybe not.
Sweet.
That'd be awesome. But so anyways, that happened. So if you want to go check that out, we will also put that in the description below. We've got double Tac Koala stuff in our description today. So yeah, so go ahead and check that out. Also, everybody on the Overwatch subreddit, we love you guys. Please don't hate us for being in a podcast. I know there's a lot of love/hate, mostly hate, for podcasts on the subreddit. Anyways, alright, so that's going to do it, I think, for our Overwatch, the OverCast podcast. We're going to hang out just a little bit more, talking about a little bit of the WoW expansion announcement, as well as some Heroes of the Storm stuff. So, we're warning you now, from here on out, no more Overwatch. Please don't downvote us because we're not talking about that. Alright, Holmes. Let's come back to this. Did you, let's talk WoW first, yeah?
Let's talk WoW.
Let's talk it. Legion. What do you think?
Oh my god.
Demon Hunter.
Dude, I'm so... Okay, I think out of all the expansions, I'm probably the most psyched about this one.
How come?
Because it is like... It's like the climax of World of Warcraft lore.
Yeah.
You know, the Legion invades, and you have to call upon this epic class, the Demon Hunter.
Yeah.
Which I've been saying for like years now. They need a Demon Hunter class, and I'm sure that's not just me. That's probably thousands of people saying the same thing.
Even developers are like, come on, let's have a Demon Hunter.
Exactly. It's like you need little Illidan spawns out there because Illidan's just freaking BA.
Oh yeah.
And so yeah, I'm pumped.
Good.
Yeah, for sure. Especially that cinematic.
Yeah,
they had to bring him back.
Yeah, and that's just that's just the in between cinematic.
Yeah,
they're gonna have a real one with Varian Rin in it. We know he's in the actual cinematic, so that kind of raises some questions. But I think Demon Hunter is going to be awesome. I've been excited. Obviously, we're going to see quite a few changes to the Demonology Warlock because it has a lot of the same abilities like Metamorphosis and other things. But we've known that's coming for a little bit of while now. Also, artifact weapons seem awesome. I'm really scared for what's going to happen to Thrall and Tyrion Fordring, because we are wielding their weapons. Probably one of them's going to die. Hopefully, I know. But I'm guessing probably Fordring's going to die, and Thrall's going to just give up hope, and he'll come back later on. But
yeah,
so that I'm not excited to see those characters die or see whatever happens to them.
I don't think Metzen is either. Thrall's his baby.
Yeah, but I am super excited to wield Doomhammer and Ashbringer and all the other stuff. So that's going to be awesome. I think it'll be cool. I honestly, after... so that was on, what, Thursday? I think they announced it on Thursday. On Wednesday was the Overwatch stuff. I was so excited, so hyped, so emotionally like high on Wednesday that the trailer came out on Thursday, and I was like, cool. I'm so tired from being excited yesterday. You know, like I was like, I couldn't fall asleep on Wednesday night because of the Overwatch stuff.
Right.
So cool. So that's basically World of Warcraft Legion. Let's go ahead.
I've been wondering, when is it going to happen? When is the clash between the Legion going to happen?
It's going to happen now.
Here it is.
It's kind of a Hail Mary. Here we go. Let's do it, Legion.
Yep. Let's beat Sargeras one of these days.
Because subscriptions are at an all-time low. Not all-time, but since we're at 5.6 million, it hasn't been that low since vanilla. So that's like 6 years or something crazy, maybe 7, that we have been that low. So they're kind of like, either we go out on a bang or we keep going. So we'll see how that happens.
It's an old game.
Yeah, but
it's hard to stick with it sometimes, but it always pulls you back.
It always pulls you back. All right, Heroes of the Storm. So we heard about the monk class, which I don't remember his name. Forgive me.
Karazim
or something with a K. He's a support. He looks pretty awesome. We also heard about Antares or something like that. He's the StarCraft 2 or the StarCraft universe, a warrior. Finally, we're going to get a warrior he's a zealot, leader of kind of the Protoss.
Can finally double up on those StarCraft warrior quests.
Yes, I know, for real. And Rexar, also he's a unique ranged tank. So he has Misha, his bear, that is permanently summoned. So it kind of takes a lot of the damage for him, and he throws his axes. And then on their panel, they also announced the StarCraft 2 medic. So the StarCraft medic. So that's another support class for StarCraft. As well as another Diablo-themed map, which is now, there's these different shrines or elemental relic type deals that you will summon guys that will attack the heroes instead of just the buildings. So that looks really cool. Which of these characters do you feel like you're most excited for?
Either it's kind of honestly, I guess Rexar, because I've been playing Rexar for years. I mean, playing him because of Warcraft 3, running around with him. So it's kind of cool to see a legend come out like him.
Definitely.
So I'm pretty stoked about that. And a ranged tank, it's a unique thing. So
it will be quite unique. I think the monk looks pretty awesome. Looks super mobile and
yeah,
powerful.
I was kind of torn when you asked me that, because I mained a monk in Diablo, so
yeah,
I am very excited about that too.
Awesome, cool. So that's Heroes of the Storm. That's World of Warcraft. That's the Overwatch. This has been the Overcast. I am Helsing. This is Holmes, and that's it for our show today. You can find me on Twitter at Gabriel Hager. Or if you have any questions for the show, if you want to call in and send an MP3 file, that'd be awesome. We can maybe play it, answer your question, comment, blah, blah, blah. Send us an email to the Overcast inbox. Again, the Overcast inbox at gmail.com. Holmes, where can our guests and viewers hear from you?
All right, you can find me on Twitter at Bag07. That's BAGG07. And then, of course, the Overcast inbox. We can go there. And then I've kind of been on a off
Hiatus.
on hiatus on Twitch.
Yeah, me too.
I really only streamed a couple things with Heroes of the Storm, but once I get the time again, I'd love to get back into it.
Yeah, you got your summer internship of programming. If you guys want to hire Holmes to program stuff, he is experienced. So hit him up on Twitter if you need programmers, because he's got your back, potentially.
Thanks for that promo.
Of course.
All right.
All right.
And if you ever want Helsing for your designs, he has quite the mind.
This guy has
dungeon master.
practical skills. This guy has a brain, like everyone. Anyways, as always, this has been the Overcast. And if you like this episode, go ahead to like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. And we will see you guys next time.
Goodbye.
Yeah! That was awesome!
Bye!
Goodbye.